Hello, my name is Rachel McKenzie, and today we'd like to talk about what to do if ICE confronts you or your family member. And remember, regardless of your status, you have rights. Everyone has rights. So, what we're going to cover in this video is what to do if ICE comes to your house, what to do if ICE comes to your work, your rights, and what you need to know, how to be prepared, how to report ICE raids, how to find someone who is in ICE detention, and how to find legal assistance. First, let's talk about what to do if ICE comes to your house. First and foremost, do not open the door. ICE cannot come in unless they have a search warrant or if you let them in. If they have a warrant, ask them to pass it under the door before you open it and read the warrant for necessary information. We're going to talk about that in a minute. ICE cannot enter your home unless they have a valid warrant. And if they don't speak your language, or if no one can read the language on the warrant, you can ask ICE for an interpreter and they have to provide you with one so you know what the warrant says. If ICE forces their way inside, do not resist them. Just say, I do not consent to this repeatedly, but do not physically resist them. What to do if ICE comes to your work? Again, do not consent. ICE is only allowed to come into areas that are open to the public, where regular people can walk in and out without any permission. Not the back stock rooms, not the cabinets, not the files. ICE does not have the authority to arrest or question anyone without a warrant. Under California law, your boss is not allowed to turn over any employee records or allow ICE agents to enter non-public areas without a warrant signed by the judge. If ICE does not have a warrant, you should ask them calmly to please leave and let other workers know that they have a right to remain silent and they don't have to answer any questions if they choose not to. Overall, remain calm. Do not run or hide because this possibly could be used against you later. If ICE does not leave, tell them you do not consent to any search. Ask to write down the names of the agents, their badge numbers, and any contact information. They may give you a business card which has that info on it. Great. You don't have to write it down. If they won't give it to you, write that down as well, that they won't give you their names or badge numbers. Write down, record, or any document any abuse or details of the search and if ICE takes any people or any property. If ICE has a search warrant signed by a superior court judge, make sure it has the correct address for this workplace. And the warrant will state the only places the agents are allowed to search. They cannot search areas that are not listed on the warrant. If ICE does have a warrant, what should you do? First of all, you need to check the warrant. You need to read the warrant. It must contain all of the following information. It must have the correct location address on it. It must specify what areas ICE is allowed to search or items they are allowed to inspect. ICE is not allowed to search anything or anywhere that is not listed in the warrant. It must be signed by a superior court judge, and the name of the court should also be printed near the top of the paper. A warrant issued by Department of Homeland Security, DHS, or by ICE and signed by an agent is not a valid search warrant. Remember, the warrant must be signed by a judge. If you do not understand the language of the warrant, you have the right to have an interpreter read it to you in a language that you understand. Ask the agents for an interpreter to help you understand the warrant, to translate the warrant. That is your right. Overall, do not resist ICE. If you resist, it'll make everything more difficult. Do not run. Do not sign anything without knowing what it is that you're signing. For example, if they want to give you a citation, police often want to give you a citation and you sign it promising to appear in court and then they leave you alone. That's different. That's something that you can sign because you know what you're signing. Make sure to know at all times what you're signing. Remember to stay calm. Do not resist ICE. Try to take photos or videos. And if ICE does not let you, make note of the denial. Write that down. They're not letting me. Say that out loud. They're not letting me take photos. Do not say anything if you are arrested. Things that you say can be used against you. Tell ICE, I want a lawyer and I choose to remain silent. So just tell them if they keep talking to you, I want a lawyer and I choose to remain silent. And you do not need to say anything. If possible, if ICE comes, you're going to want to try to record what happens. And by record, what we mean is not just necessarily videos, but take pictures or even write things down. If they tell you not to take videos or not to take pictures, then definitely write things down. What to write down or note? Any abuse, who or what they removed, the agent's names and badge numbers, the agent's contact information if possible, and the agent's incorrect behaviors. Now, we want to be prepared just in case, just like we're prepared for earthquakes or natural disasters. So we want to make sure that family knows which friends and relatives can help with family obligations. And make sure the helpers and the kids know how to get in touch with each other. Your A number so that they can find you if you get arrested. The phone number for a resource for solid and good legal advice. We're going to talk about some lawyers and legal assistance in a moment, but try and make sure to plan ahead. So these are phone numbers to report ICE activity and raids in Northern California. On the right-hand side, these numbers are for specific counties to report emergency ICE activity only, only for emergencies. Now, the numbers in the box to the left for siren, services, immigration rights, and education network rapid response. If you need legal help, you can call these numbers. And if you're an ally, there's a number as well. So please take a moment to write down the correct numbers for your county, and I'll pause. And I want to give thanks to the Northern California ACLU, not only for what they do, but for providing much of this information as well as these phone numbers. It takes a village. If someone you love or know is detained by ICE, the way to find them, we are told there are two ways. The first one is the ICE locator online, and the second one is a phone number where you can call the Northern California ICE field office. These are websites and phone numbers for a variety of legal assistance and legal aid networks and resources and organizations and community partners in California, not just Northern California. For example, Los Angeles and Sacramento are listed here as well. The folks that have websites are, we've suggested that those are the best way to find that organization in your area. There are many, many other places other than just these few we've listed here. You can always search or Google or any kind of search you choose to do. Immigration assistance in California, immigration assistance in York County, immigration assistance in Santa Clara County, for example, and find many other like-minded folks along with these organizations, like-minded organizations to help you with these issues that ICE may raise or that our current administration may raise for you regarding your immigration status. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I hope with all of my heart that you and your loved ones will be well in the state that we are in currently. Take care.